All right, KTC, something I thought I would never say, but I'm moving off Training Peaks. Now, before you freak out, I'm going to tell you why I'm making this move, and a little bit later on, this is going to be a teaser video just to explain why I'm doing all of this and kind of give you the concepts of the different options you have for training. And later on, I'm going to follow this up with how you can follow me if you choose. But again, there's lots of ways that you can approach training. My whole job and what I just think about 24/7 is how to make you a better athlete. Maybe how to make myself a better athlete as well, which drives the learning, drives the evolution, and I am incredibly excited about this new opportunity in training, and I really think it's the future of where training is going. So before I get into that, what we are going to talk about are the different training options. And some of you are at different levels, and that's totally fine. Some of you have been doing this for years. Some of you are just getting started. I've been digging up some cool stuff from the past. I found this bad boy here. This is the Triathletes Training Bible. If you were around 25 years ago in the sport, or actually earlier than that, probably you read this book. This was the book by Joe Friel, exercise physiologist, and I'll say one of the gurus in the sport or the endurance sport world. You'll see a lot of his stuff still in Training Peaks. That's where it evolved from. All of this information has really set the foundation for everything that I'm even doing today and what a lot of coaches are doing today, which one is cool to think about, but scary when you think about how far technology has come. So this is my first training plan. I know you probably can't see it, a little blurry. Anyway, 1 page, pencil, because you need to erase it in case you need to adjust your plan. And just has the whole year there. My A races, every phase that I'm going to be working on. And again, there's the plan. I wish I found my logbook. I couldn't find that, but that was just a book of lined paper where I wrote every workout in by hand. Notes, comments, thoughts, feelings, whatever. Have you ever seen those old Lionel Sanders videos? That's, what he was doing. That's what we were doing. And, from there, it evolved into spreadsheets when more people started using computers. Yeah. That still wasn't really a thing. The internet didn't really exist when I got into the sport. So spreadsheets, emailing back and forth. Now you could have, basically the training plan digitized. And that's really where Training Peaks got its start, that was the platform. And now you could actually combine your training log with your training plan. And then that evolved into being able to collect some metrics, usually just how you felt and things like that. Heart rate monitors started to come into play in and around those late 90s, 2000s. I remember when I first got my first heart rate monitor, and heart rate training was all the rage. And then Power came in for cycling, which nobody could afford, so no one really did that anyway. And then Power came in for running, and now we have can't even list the amount of tools. Just this watch alone would blow your mind back then. So it's evolved, and it continues to evolve, and it's moved into the next phase now with all this machine learning and AI. And I also want you to make this video to caution you as you are playing around out there and what you're using and what you're not using. So what are the best options for you to train in 2025? And again, there is the whole spectrum that I'm going to cover as quickly as I can. So first of all, if you're just getting started, most of us just went out and swam, biked, and ran with zero direction. Just go out and do it. And then usually you do a race and you're like, oh, that was great. I should learn maybe more. Or that was terrible. I better figure out what the hell to do. So usually you don't last too long here before you move to the next step, which is the cheapest, and you just get a generic training plan. So you can go on, online anywhere. Even the KTC thing, training plan, I'd say is a generic training plan. So you can download that, and whether that's just a piece of paper or it is in a more technologically advanced application like Training Peaks, it's still a static training plan. It doesn't move, it doesn't adapt to you. And unfortunately, what I've learned in 25 years is your line or your progress from where you are now to your goal or your goal race is not linear. It's not going to be following this plan perfectly. You're going to get sick. You're going to get busy. You may even get injured. Your motivation will ebb and flow. So if you are trying to follow just one set plan, I guarantee you there's going to come a time where you're going to have to make a decision. Do I start a new plan over again? Do I just keep going? Do I go back? And usually people make the wrong decisions in trying to figure that out. Typically, it's your type A personality motivation where you're going to push through whatever you shouldn't be pushing through. And just like me, in my earlier days, I ended up injured and missing, out on the sport I loved. Now, I lumped AI training plans in here as well, only because you have to be careful with these training plans. Really cool, the technology out there now where it can take your data, adapt the plan, but you always have to consider where the source of the data is coming from. So if you are not confident in the data set that it's pulling and the purpose that it was built for, then just be wary. It's probably no better than the philosophy of some random coach, which I'm some random coach, and I'll talk about that limitation in a sec. But how do you know that info is good or not? I can guarantee you, if you're typing in the chat GPT, give me a training plan, it's going out on the internet. It can pull that from anywhere. It can be good. It can be garbage. No idea. It's going to give you something. Take it with a grain of salt. But again, not much different than reaching out and hiring a coach. But at least you can have that conversation and figure out whether that person knows what they're talking about or not. Group workouts. I would say this is the next best thing. This pretty much applies to all of you. So if you are just happy to come and do the workout, great. As many as you feel you want to do. If you're solo training or even following a static plan, something else outside, great, whatever. But I can honestly say I would not be in this sport after 25 years if I did not have the group dynamic. You will, one, enjoy it a lot more. Swimming sucks on your own, trust me. But biking, running, everything sucks on your own. And not only that, but you get so much better in this group environment, a training environment. There's a reason swim clubs swim together, train together, push each other, inspire each other, encourage each other, sometimes knock each other down. And that gets me motivated too. Learns from each other. And they're racing individually, minus the relays. And again, you get better as the club. So, probably the best thing that you can ever do. Of course, it's a big leap. Usually people are kicking and screaming to join it. You do need to, look at your life and readjust some things. But if you want to be successful in the long term, group's where it's at. You're going to get injured. You need people to call you, get you back. You're going to get sick or demotivated. You need people are there waiting to train for you, with you. Those mornings, trust me, getting out of bed, someone's waiting for you, you're going to go. So best thing you could possibly do would be to plug into a club. And I'm not just saying that out of my, maybe I have some bias running a club, but hopefully all of you can agree that is an incredibly important component. So then you can combine the two, and this is kind of what we do in KTC. So we have group workouts and we have a generic training plan. So I have gone to the next level and provided a couple different, volume levels so that it's a little bit more personalized, but it's still static. It's, I harp on you, get on this plan in October because that's when we're doing all our base building and prep work. Well, some of you did, some of you didn't. So it's January. Now what do you do? Which is kind of why I'm making this video. Do you go back and do all that base work or just jump into where we are now? Do you try to expedite it and try to catch up? So all these decisions now you have to make with that static plan, but at least you got the group support where we can help guide you through it a little bit better. Now we got the group and we got the custom training plan. Now this is something I don't have bandwidth to do, and this would be basically you're training with the club. I do this with my coaching athletes, which you'll see a little bit farther down, and then I'll make you a plan from where you are now and where you want to get to. But I'm still going to leave it static because it's not worth my time or money to, well, you're not going to pay me enough to make you a custom plan that is worth my while to put all that work into. Because there are better solutions now. So we're just going to skip that one. You can train with a group, and now you can use a technology that is AI adaptive. It creates a training plan, and it will adjust based on your execution, your fatigue level, the inputs, all the inputs. And there are thousands of inputs now. Things that we couldn't do ever before the technology of machine learning and artificial intelligence has really gotten to this point. And I would say it is just starting, which is why I'm excited to jump on in the early days of all of this technology. So you can train with a group. You can get a customized training plan that adapts as you progress along your journey, as you go through the pitfalls and the successes along the way, because that's the journey. And it will optimize your training, which again is brand new, and why I'm super excited about it. Now the trade-off is we're doing group and personal. There's going to be a little bit of friction there. Now, not to say that it can't be overcome. First of all, when we were doing track workouts, there were times I was running 5 different workouts on the track at the same time, whether you were doing Ironman or a sprint triathlon or just recovering from an injury. That's all good. We can still all train together, run around in circles, warm up together, high five each other, stretch, whatever, support each other, get feedback. Whatever it is, we can do that. Same with the biking. There are ways to make that work. However, we're starting to narrow it a little bit more when, I'm talking about a specific workout. Not to say that on Zwift, we throw a rubber band and you can do something different, and that's cool too. Outside, same thing. We can make those adjustments. And often, that's the case as well, where someone's just not feeling good. I'm going to ride easy today. All right, well, we're hitting our loop. I'm going to ride hard. I'm going to ride medium. I'm going to do this interval. That is doable. In the pool, when we're swimming 6 people per lane, now we're starting to get a little bit more difficult. 7 o'clock, you guys are good. But the reality is our swim workouts aren't that much different than, a personalized swim workout. So the way we structure it, the training principles still hold fairly strong, and you can get away with having your personalized plan. But you know what? I'm showing up and I'm doing Corey's workout, and I'm going to load it in, and maybe my plan will adjust because of what I loaded in, because it was supposed to be an easy swim and I went hard, and then I had a hard swim and I went easy. In the end of the day, it's going to level out fairly well anyway. And again, you'll be farther ahead than just being on a static plan. Next one is group workouts, custom training plan, and coach support. So this would be my current coaching. This is where at least many of you are on part of the club. You're coming to the club workouts. I'm working those in. I'm making you a custom plan. I'm also adapting that plan. Either depends where you're at. If you're injured, we're doing it every week. If we're, sailing along, then maybe every month it changes up a little bit, unless something comes up that you make me aware of. And then you have the coach support. Now, a lot of you go like, well, I have an AI training plan making all the decisions training wise. Why do I even need a coach? And I'm going to look at roadmaps in a second here. A coach fills in all the holes and adds all the additional value on top of the what to do. That's all the training plan is telling you to do. Go do this. But it's not telling you why you're doing this, how to do it. How is huge. Execution, most of you guys suck at training, I'm sorry. And that can be hitting the right paces. That can be fueling your workouts properly. That can be recovering properly afterwards. That could be using the right equipment. That can be working your watch properly or collecting the data properly. So again, there is an endless amount of topics that a coach can bring value to that I've gained in I don't know how many years. I'll get to that in a sec too. So nutrition, transitions, equipment, technology, you name it. Again, that's where their coach really should come in, and we're wasting so much time just writing programs, making workouts. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that anymore. And that's why I'm very excited as well. Not only for my own personal gain, but for the athletes that I work with. I want to deliver more of that. That's going to bring you more value than my one workout that I spent 2 hours making for Zwift. Seriously. So next one would be where I want to end up and where you all have the opportunity to go if I'm coaching you. Obviously, again, it's not for everybody. Have the club. We got the personalized training plan, and then you have the coach support that is focused on you filling in all the 25 years I have experience, basically being your navigator. So this would be, I'd say, the optimal for achieving those really big goals. Now, as you work your way down, we're going from free to expensive. So wherever you fall in that spectrum, you always have to weigh those pros and cons, when it's right for you, what's right for you. And that's why I'm just laying it all out of all the different options. So really, when we started the Triathlon Training Bible, I will say all the way up to Training Peaks as it exists right now is this static roadmap. You have your home where you are now to where you want to get to, and you have a direction. That direction is your training plan. Unfortunately, sometimes you get traffic, construction, detours, weather, you name it. And you have to change your direction. Now, if you have a map, you can go, okay, well, it looks like we can take this road. Sometimes you end up in a bad place. Sometimes it works. Never know. Until now, we've never had GPS for training, which is this new platform. It is GPS for training, where it is adaptive based on all these inputs, hundreds, if not thousands of inputs. What is the weather? What is the traffic? What are the construction zones? Recalibrating. Do a U-turn. So this is where we're at now with technology as it pertains to training. And again, the research that I've been doing in the last 3 months, not only the different companies out there doing this, so which ones are good and maybe not yet ready, to trying it myself, testing it on myself. And that might give away it already, because some of the workouts you may see on Strava are already titled the software that I've been using. And I plan to use more going forward. So eventually we are all going to get off this static roadmap. If you're on a static training plan, they're going to be dead. It's all going to be moving in this direction eventually. All those hundreds of thousands of hours that I've spent making training plans and workouts are all going to be gone. But I'm excited because then I get to actually give you my real value. And that is my knowledge and experience in the sport of triathlon, or I'll say endurance sports, because we can talk anything: swimming, biking, running, you name it. Let's hit it. So for 2025, this will be your teaser. I am incredibly excited about using TriDot. That is what I'm moving over towards. Now, before you rush over and sign up for TriDot, I have a special code for you that'll give you 2 months free trial, so you can just try it out. But let me show you really quickly here, just to get you excited. I've already put in this Victoria 70.3, but you know what? I think I want, maybe Ironman Arizona. So I'm going to browse races. All the big ones are in here. Obviously, TriDot is the partner of Ironman. I'm going to get more into all of the backstory and how I found them and where I've come to in this progression. But again, this was supposed to be a teaser that has already gone 20 minutes. So I'm going to type in Ironman, Arizona, as I multitask and try. So here we go, Ironman Arizona. I'm going to just do a simulation. And based on all the data, and it will change. So your predictive race results will change as your training changes, for the good or for the worse. But basically, all you need to do, throw in your race, let it do some thinking. There we go. And based on my current metrics, which I put in when I set it all up, which actually was super slick and easy, and I'm going to show you that in the next video as well. My predicted swim time will be 58 minutes and 14 seconds, and that's pretty much exactly what I swim in Arizona every single year. My predicted bike looks like a 450, which is pretty on point. And my predicted run, if I could ever hit it right, which I am going to this time, is a 2:54.23 for a 9:02.49, which would be absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, that is bang on the money of usually what I predict in terms of my performance, as long as I'm not sitting on the side of the road vomiting my guts out, which I have figured out finally. So if you want tips and tricks on that, okay, let me do one first. It seems like if my swim, I follow the plan, I'm going to get down to a 117 FTP. So that would be my steady state swim pace, which that's pretty solid. That'll be a good challenge. But then I get to knock it back to 131s for an Ironman distance. So even if I don't hit this, I know I always overswim just a little bit. But it helps you pace it out. My planned FTP will be 309. I should be able to hold 244 for 450. And then my planned run, those are the metrics for the run. So instead of just viewing this, I can just add this to my training plan, go back over, and it will just populate everything from, again, where I am now to that goal race. I can choose my A, B, and C races, so it'll adapt the plan from that. And it looks very similar to what you'd see in Training Peaks. I've gone a little overboard. I've kind of brought it back. Again, I've been trying to break it and test everything on it. But, here are my weeks of training. I am able to go in and customize my schedule when I want swims to show up on, when I want bikes and runs to show up on. However, there are some limitations because it is trying to set you up for the best training schedule possible. So even though there's some customization, there's not, I'll say, complete customization, or at least that's what I found initially here. I'm still learning, but again, if you're looking to jump into something that's perfectly tailored to you, where you are right now, and your exact races, this is what I would recommend. Combine this with coaching. This is what I'm going to be talking with you one-on-one if you're one of my coached athletes, to see if you'd like to move in this direction or not. And again, there's no pressure. We can play with it, feel it out. It's still a nice early time of year. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, don't worry, I got you. And again, this, in my opinion, is the future. Why TriDot? I go back to all the data sets. I've been watching TriDot because I've jumped on to a few of their experiments. They've been offering $20,000 prize packages to jump onto their training plans. Their data set specifically for this is far beyond anything else that I've ever seen, purpose-built for this. It's why they have partnered with Ironman. They've taken over Ironman University, so they are they're the coach hub around the world. They're the official trainer for Ironman. This is something that I get to plug into now, so I have a coaching team just as important as a training team, and I guarantee you these guys are gonna lead the whole way, and the data is good. So TriDot, if you want to get started before I even get to the next video, there is a discount code set up under this one. It'll get you 2 months. You're going to set up under 2 weeks, and then you get an email where you can upgrade for 2 months. So 2.5 months, actually. You're welcome. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, you're going to get 2.5 freaking awesome months of training. So Happy New Year. Can't wait to talk more about this one. And we'll see you in the pool, on the bike, on the run soon. Take care. Bye-bye.